I don't need to. I'm not even. I don't need to. I'm not filming you either. I mean. This is. Talking about it, silly. I'm not even filming you, love. Anyway. So I'm in the King's Cross area of London today to look at one of the most imposing neo-Gothic or Gothic revival buildings in London. And whether you're a resident in the area, a commuter or tourist, it's a building you can't miss. And this is the St Pancras Renaissance Hotel, formerly the Midland Grand Hotel.
So neo, for anybody that doesn't know, just means new in Greek, but can also mean a revival of something that existed in the past. Neo-Gothic, or the Gothic Revival, was a movement which sought to revive medieval art and architecture. So Gothic is synonymous with medieval really, especially when we are talking about art and architecture. But it was first used as a pejorative term by Italian writers during the Renaissance to describe the architecture of the barbarians north of the Alps. Italians were rediscovering the culture of classical antiquity, which in turn influenced the rest of Europe, so the Gothic style fell out of favour during this time. But during the 18th century there was a growing feeling of distrust with industrialisation and a reaction against Enlightenment values of reason, clarity and orderliness. This took the form of Romanticism, which prized emotion, passion, imagination, with an awe of the natural world and a nostalgia for the medieval past. These were the seeds from which the Gothic revival sprung.
And whether you leave King's Cross Station behind me or St Pancras, you're met with a sea of red bricks. But most of that is devoted to the hotel, not the St Pancras station. Yeah, and this area about 20-25 years ago was a lot more sketchy. But they've since redeveloped it and it's become gentrified. Yeah, so it's more of an up and coming area now. Yeah, and the most impressive view of the hotel is on Houston Road, where you can see the impressive grand facade. This portico here used to be the original entrance to the hotel. The horse and carriage would have come through here and dropped off the guests, and they would have gone through to the lobby. Yes, so the hotel originally opened in 1873 and was called the Midland Grand Hotel. It was financed by the Midland Railway Company. The first large hotels in London were built by the emerging railway companies and were located next door to their London terminus stations. This was to take advantage of the increasing passion and trade from railway travel. Yes, so King's Cross Station, which is right next door to St Pancras, was built by the Great Northern Railway Company. You can see that behind me. And it's kind of retained its neo-classical style. Obviously some modern elements have been incorporated into the building as well. And as you see, they built the Great Northern Hotel right next door. Great Northern Hotel, which is the oldest railway hotel in London. It was built in 1854. And the third big station on Houston Road is Houston Station, which I'm going to walk down to now. See the hotel behind me again there. You can see the red telephone box, which that has some significance in relation to the architect of the Midland Grand Hotel. Yeah, so these stations are very close together, especially King's Cross Station and St Pancras Station. Yeah, these railway companies were competing with each other really for trade. Then you've got run over then. Because you know, they were transporting coal and other industrial goods into London and elsewhere around the country. Yeah, so this is the exterior of London Euston Station. And as you can see, it's a kind of soulless concrete block. If you compare it to the other stations. They modernised this station in the early 1960s. Yeah, and Euston Station is actually the oldest intercity railway terminus in London.
Now back to the St Pancras Renaissance Hotel. The main inspiration for the look of the building were the medieval town halls of Flanders, but particularly the 13th century cloth hall of Ypres, which was actually destroyed during the First World War but subsequently reconstructed. As evidenced by the scale of the hotel and the towers, we can also see the Flanders influence in the stepped gables. The building is actually polychromatic, reminding you also of the architecture of northern Italy, especially Venice. You have the pale stone alternating with red around the window arches and pale stone in the window tracery, which is offset by the blue-grey hue of the roof slates. It has more of a Norman early Gothic feel to the building, with its massive solidity and round arched windows.
The architect who designed this hotel was Sir George Gilbert Scott, who was a prominent and prolific architect of the 19th century and is thought to have played a part in either restoring or designing over 800 buildings. Along with this hotel, his other notable commissions were the Albert Memorial, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, which are both in London, and St Mary's Cathedral in both Edinburgh and Glasgow. At his architectural practice, which was the largest in Victorian England, he employed many pupils that went on to have successful careers themselves, such as George Edmund Street, who designed the Royal Courts of Justice. So it wasn't just Sir George Gilbert Scott who made an indelible mark on the landscape of Britain. His son and grandson were also architects, so it definitely ran in the family. His grandson, Sir Giles Gilbert Scott, in particular, was probably more notable. He designed Liverpool Cathedral and also the red telephone box. There's one just outside the hotel here. So the hotel closed in 1935 as it became too costly to maintain, and it was used instead as railway offices. Yes, you've got the old booking office behind me, which is now a trendy bar. As you can see, it looks very plush inside. So the hotel ended up falling into disrepair, and there were plans to demolish it in the 1960s, but thankfully it was saved. And a man that played a big part in saving the hotel was John Betjeman, and there is a monument to him at St Pancras station, which I will take you over to have a look at. So John Betjeman was a poet laureate, but also a great lover of architecture, and he was one of the founding members of the Victorian Society and its first secretary. But unfortunately they were unable to save Houston Arch, but they did save the hotel. And there is another statue there, which is called the Meeting Place. I think this was unveiled in the early 2000s. Some people have criticised it, I don't mind it. My only issue with it is I think they should have done it without the backpack. Maybe gave the gentleman a fedora hat or something like that to make it look like it's from the 1920s, 30s. Kind of brief encounter. Yeah, I think the backpack looks a bit out of place. I've tried to kind of obviously modernise it. Yeah, I thought I'd better bite the bullet and start trying to create some videos again. I've left it quite a while. I had an illness and I've started a new job, so it's been difficult to do more videos, but I'll try and at least do one once a month or something like that. I mean, I prefer doing them abroad, to be honest. Yeah, I seem to get quite self-conscious when I'm in the UK. I suppose you just need to get used to it. I don't need to. I'm not even. I don't need to. I'm not filming you either. I mean. This is. What you talking about, you silly cat? I'm not even filming you, love. Anyway, so mind your own business. Stupid cow.